What's up, y'all? My name is Jay Jackson, and welcome to my channel. So instead of me just sitting here talking your heads off with about me, I got Tia right here to ask me, I guess, some random questions or whatnot, and see how it goes.
What introduced you to kayak?
Oh God. Alright, we're going way back now. So, what introduced me to kayak fishing was back in 2012. I was actually at this lake right here, Lake Rim, where it actually started. And this older guy, maybe around like 65 years old, he went out on a kayak and just got a whole bunch of crappie, which is a really lovely fish that I like to eat. And I was already on the pier fishing for about a solid hour and a half. He went out there within 45 minutes and caught 20 of them and came back. So pretty much I just asked him what was that he's in, because I thought it was a canoe.
Okay.
And he said it was a kayak. And basically I'm like, okay, what is a kayak? And he was like, this is a kayak right here. I'm like, okay, duh. Like
But what the difference was?
Exactly. I had no clue what the difference was between a kayak and canoe. It was just, it looked the same to me, pretty much. And he said he was gonna be back out here again the next day, so I went out that night and bought me a kayak, having no knowledge of what one is, how to pick one out. But I went out to Dick's Sporting Goods, and this one guy, don't remember his name, but he helped me out completely, and I got my first one, which was a Future Beach Trophy Deluxe Angler 126 kayak, the sit-in one, so you can't stand up in anything, but it got me.
Your introduction.
Exactly.
Okay. You could think of 3 things that kayak fishing has changed or brought to your life.
Happiness. More fish.
Shenanigans.
Yes. Happiness, more fish. Meet new people, such as yourself, because we just met randomly on Instagram. That's what I love to do, spread love.
What skills have you learned over time in kayak fishing? And I guess how would they change as far as like learning by accident? Things that could possibly go wrong, but they enlightened you something new.
What skills? Be prepared for anything that could happen. Like especially bringing lots of water, Gatorade, food. Because essentially you're out there alone by yourself on the water. Of course, you got God and everything, so always never alone. But you gotta do it with nature. If you're out there with somebody, always have a reliable means of communication to talk with somebody, even if it's no cell phone signal, such as like a two-way radio. So the two-way radios I have now are called Midlands, and they go for like 30 miles out, which is awesome because, yeah, I don't need to lose anybody.
Good to know. Favorite catch ever?
Favorite catch ever?
Yes.
Favorite catch ever?
Or most exciting?
I'm gonna say anything. Most exciting catch is anything by the Cape River Dam,
Okay.
because we have a whole bunch of freshwater fish up in there, but also you get some saltwater fish coming through there, and you have the excitement of trying not to get pulled into the dam, as well as trying to land a fish and not tip over with the waves too. So I'm gonna say that's my most exciting catch. Either be like huge catfish, which I don't have a video of because that's before I even started recording myself, which just stuck to the bottom of the Cape River, and it would not come up. I thought it was hung up until it started moving me towards the dam, and I was like, oh, it's a fish, okay. Or striped bass. I love catching striped bass. Top 3 favorite fish to catch ever. Like, that's emotional for me. And I'm gonna say crappie because they're just really delicious. Yes, I love you.
It's hot. What would your top 3 items to never hop on your kayak without?
I would say my paddle, life jacket, and my fishing rod. Like, I'm gonna have water in my kayak already, like, so that's all you're gonna be in there.
What got you introduced to the outdoors, and what else do you like to do outside of kayaking?
Okay, what got me introduced to the outdoors is, well, rather who is my dad, which I'm pretty much a splitting image of him. No matter how much I hate to admit it, there's not a time I can't remember being outside, especially because of him, because he basically refused to not either go fishing, go hunting, because he had kids. Like, I believe ever since I could walk, I was always fishing, pretty much. I was going out hunting, shooting guns, shooting bows. Like, it's always been something I did, and brought me happiness. Unfortunately, he does not. So I have been challenging his pride to a fishing tournament, especially on the kayak, but he is very reluctant to get on a kayak just yet, and it's been 8 years since I started kayak fishing. So now since I have these 2 kayaks that could support him, because he's a pretty big guy, about 250, something like that, you know, big muscle. He still has not got on one yet, so hopefully me challenging his pride will, you know.
Have you ever tried that?
He has not.
What made you decide to bring kayak fishing?
I mean, there's a lot of people who kayak fish on YouTube right now, but mainly, and I'm not trying to go with the narrative of what's happening in the world today, but I don't see a lot of people of color actually on YouTube kayak fishing, because in the black community, it's kind of like not shunned down, but a lot of black people don't like to swim. I don't like the water pretty much. So, like, for me to go out and kayak fish, especially like out in the ocean, the saltwater flats, a big river, big lake, whatever, it's kind of an oddity. Like, who is this guy out there fishing on this plastic thing? Like, yeah, I mean, it's a plastic thing. It's a plastic boat. So that's one of my main things of why I want to bring kayak fishing to YouTube, and also to share with everybody, like, my adventures, pretty much. Like,
Bring them out.
exactly. Like, I mean, I think it has to a few people that I met personally and who I met over Instagram. Thank you. So, yeah.
I don't leave my house. I don't go on adventures. I am solely here because this man. He has brought me out. I'm trying a new adventure.
I appreciate that. So we eating cheese. Are we cooking?
I done got about 4 days out. Are there anything you're looking forward to catching?
Yes.
What's coming up?
A whole bunch of saltwater trips. Like, that's one thing I've lacked on, is catching saltwater fish, just because I fish mainly freshwater. So getting out to the saltwater flats, out to the creeks and everything, of saltwater, brackish water and everything, to catch redfish, flounder, speckled trout, catch a shark. It doesn't matter. A tight line is a tight line to me. I love fishing. That's it.
What would you say the biggest differences that you think from saltwater?
The biggest differences?
The things to look out for?
Jellyfish. I have a problem with putting my feet over the water and come my feet off. And one of the first 3 times I've been out in the ocean in my kayak was, I've had an encounter with a jellyfish. Yeah, no good, no bueno.
Who, other than your dad, are your greatest inspirations for the great outdoors?
For the great outdoors. Steve Irwin, Dr. Hunter. I watched him. Exactly. Like, that dude was not afraid to catch anything and educate people on it. Like, that was one of my heroes as a kid growing up. I used to love watching him, and his wife too, just talk about animals. And I have a daughter and his son now, taking over his business. And when he got stung in the heart by the stingray, it was very like, no way. Like, this dude has wrestled like 20-foot crocodiles and alligators. Like, a stingray, no way. But the fact that, he said don't blame the stingray because it was doing what it's supposed to do. He still showed that love and respect for nature. So that's why I still look up to and actually watch his videos.
Anything that you do fear? Because he's so fearless.
What do I fear? The only thing I say I fear is, besides God, but I love him more than I fear him, if that makes any kind of sense. I'm gonna say someone else who's out here on a kayak with me, not listening to my instructions and getting hurt, because I'm gonna always make sure they're as safe as possible. So if they listen, then they're gonna be in a good. But that's my main thing. Because someone shows too much pride or too much ego and to say, hey, I want to do it on my own, or I got this. And it's like, it's always in the back of my mind pretty much of, all right, do they actually have this? So I don't want anybody to get hurt pretty much like that.
Go as far as things to learn, or go experience?
I want to learn everything there is to know about kayak fishing. Every single knot to tie on a fishing reel, every single form to fish. And I mean, there are millions of forms, even ancient forms that I haven't even tapped into learning about. Finding new ways to fish, just everything. Like, yeah.
Who or what do you look to for that type of inspiration?
Anybody. It could be someone who's way older than me, or someone who's even 7 years old. Like, if they say, hey Jay, you should do this like this right here, and show me, I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna take that advice. I'm never too cool to learn. Alright. And we got to do a closing statement or closing segment. Closing, how you say closing what? Closing outro? Yeah, closing outro. Okay. We got to do a closing outro. So, I'm not going to bore y'all with a whole bunch of questions and anything. We're going to go straight into a whole bunch of fishing and maybe some bow hunting too. Or some kayak goose hunting or whatever, So, next video is going to be way more exciting. This is just that boring introduction that, we got to get through. That's all. So, once again, welcome to my channel, J2 Country. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram already, please follow me. And you know how everybody else says it. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Alright, deuces.